What's up guys, Mike here, and this is my video review for the much awaited Samsung Galaxy S4. I've been using it for a couple of days and there are plenty of things I can tell you about it, so let's get going. We'll start with the design. The S4 looks a lot like the S3, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Samsung took an established design and polished it. The phone is now micrometrically thinner and more compact than its predecessor, and that despite the fact that it packs a larger screen. And it's also a little bit lighter. The strap that flows on the edges of the phone no longer tapers towards the front and bottom. The phone is overall more rectangular with less rounded corners, and the much hated plastic rear of the S3 has been somewhat addressed. It's still made from plastic, but it feels and looks better with its hyper-glazed finishing. Even so, plastic is still plastic, so the S4 fails to inspire the premium feel you would get with the HTC One or the Xperia Z. Overall though, it's not bad, and I'm happy to tell you that the phone sits well in hand and is more grippier than those aforementioned handsets. Yes, it's still large and impossible to use with only one hand by most of us, but it's overall quite comfortable. The button layout helps as well, with the volume rocker on the left edge and the power button conveniently placed on the right. Oh, and Samsung did change these buttons, they now feel a bit firmer. There's also a micro USB slot on the bottom of the phone and a microphone, plus a headset jack, an IR blaster and a secondary microphone on top. And then the S4 has a removable rear plate. This means that you can easily replace it if it gets scratched, and once you peel it off, you'll get access to a removable battery, the micro SIM and micro SD card slots. On the back of the phone there's a camera with flash, plus the speaker which was moved towards the bottom. Alright, let's flip the phone and have a look at the front face. There's a 5-inch screen here now, and the bezel around it was slightly slimmed down. Samsung went for a Super AMOLED panel, as they do with most of their top smartphones, but a slightly different one than before. First, it comes with 1080p resolution, which makes text and fine details extremely sharp on it. And second, while this is still a Pentile Matrix, it's a redesigned one. We won't get in that here, but Samsung managed to create a screen that can easily rival with the IPS and LCD panels used by their competitors. The colors are extremely vibrant, although a tint oversaturated, while the blacks and contrast levels are impressive. And although the viewing angles or the brightness aren't the best you can find these days, I doubt you'll ever mind that. Overall, the S4 screen is a solid performer in pretty much all conditions. It's also protected by Gorilla Glass 3, so it should be extra tough. Plus embeds a super sensitive touch layer, which means that you will be able to use your phone with gloves and all sorts of other objects. Little has changed below the screen. There's the same home physical button in the middle, flanked by back and menu capacitive controls. On top though, there's an addition. An IR sensor used for many of the new motion gestures can be found here, next to the front camera, standard light and proximity sensors, and the bright and easily visible notification LED. Alright, and now that we're through with the exterior, let's talk about the hardware and software. I'm testing the Snapdragon 600 powered S4, the international version, with 2GB of RAM. And this proved to be one of the snappiest smartphones of the moment. It kills it in benchmarks, as you can see from this other clip, although it's not always the fastest. But during everyday use, it works smoothly 99% of the time. And that's because from time to time you're still going to encounter stuttering and sluggishness with the S4, and that won't necessarily happen when you're pushing it. There are still occasional delays for even the most basic of tasks, and unfortunately that's still a given for Android devices, no matter how powerful they are. Speaking of Android, the S4 comes with Jelly Bean 4.2.2, skimmed by Samsung TouchWiz UI, and there are some changes over the implementations we've seen in the past. There's a new lock screen, a redesigned app drawer, a new settings menu, and a new set of toggles in the notification menu that allows you to quickly enable and disable all the special functions offered by the S4, plus many others. Many of them have something to do with connectivity options, where the S4 excels, offering anything you might want right now, or the motion gestures. We're not getting in depth about them here, we'll talk more about gestures in a different clip. But the S4 does offer some new goodies, like AirView, that lets you interact with the content on the screen just by hovering your finger on top of it, eye tracking that automatically scrolls a web page based on what you're watching on the screen or pauses a clip when you're not looking at it, plus all sorts of air gestures that allow you to scroll through web pages, move through pictures and songs and so on. Anyway, the S4 could handle everything I threw at it, from light basic tasks like taking phone calls or sending texts, to browsing, editing documents and pics, or running movies and playing games. In fact, with the 5-inch screen, the Galaxy S4 is for sure an awesome multimedia companion. Its speaker, placed on the back, is not impressive, but the earbuds included in the pack are quite good, as you'll find from this other clip. As for the apps, you can get them from Google's Play or Samsung's App Store, but there are also plenty of Samsung S apps pre-installed. Some that we're familiar with, like S-Voice, S-Memos, etc., and some new ones like S-Voice Drive, meant to simplify commands while driving, and S-Health, that pairs with various accessories and keeps a log of your everyday activities, advising you on how to improve your life. The new temperature and pressure sensors bundled on the S4 are also used by this app. And I could keep speaking about the new additions on the S4 for a while, but then this review would really get too long. So I'll stop and I'll invite you to check out all the other clips on my channel. But not before mentioning some other cool things that I liked on this phone. There's a remote app that works with the IR sensor and allows you to control the electronic devices in your home with the S4. There's a row of quick icons accessible in every app by swiping the screen from the left, and Samsung also greatly improved the keyboard on the S4, that now uses SwiftKey for continuous input with better prediction, autocorrection and learning abilities. And then there are the cameras. The front shooter can take 1080p clips and it's great for video calls, while the main shooter is quite a performer. Pics and videos are sharp and the phone can capture lively and accurate colors in fair light. And although poor light performances are not a match to, let's say, the cameras on the HTC One or the Lumia 920, they are not that bad either. You should see this other clip for more pics and video samples. Samsung also put a lot of effort into the camera's software, offering many interesting shooting modes, like Dual Shot, Drama Shot, Sound and Shot, 360 and so on, plus filters and a redesigned interface that borrows plenty of aspects from the Galaxy camera. We'll talk more about all these modes in a different clip as well. So all in all, there are plenty of things to like about the Samsung Galaxy S4. It's a good looking phone, although it's still made from plastic and lacks the premium feel and looks of some competitors. It's snappy, it has an awesome screen, a good camera, and plenty of features that make it different from the crowd and might appeal to most of you. I for one probably won't use those gestures much, and I'm not impressed with most of the camera modes either. But what I am impressed with is the battery life on this phone. There's a 2600 mAh battery inside the Galaxy S4, and I pushed it for 2 days with average use. With light use, it can go for longer, and while using it continuously for heavy tasks, with the screen at 100%, I was able to squeeze 7+ hours of use on a charge, which is better than what the other top smartphones of the moment offer right now, except for some phablets that have a larger battery. Oh, and the battery is easily replaceable and the phone does support wireless charging as well, just not out of the box. You'll have to buy some accessories for that. Speaking about those, Samsung will offer a complete line of add-ons for the S4. See my other clips for more details about them. Okay, so there you have it. Samsung took their popular S3 and took it to the next level. There are little obvious changes, but basically all the aspects of the phone have been slightly improved. And all those while selling the device for a fair price. Around $250 or euros with contract, or about $600 or euros for the unlocked version. But how does the S4 compare to its main rivals, like the iPhone 5, the HTC One or the Sony Xperia Z? We'll have some dedicated clips about them, so subscribe to the channel and check them out. We'll also compare the S4 with the S3 and some of the other last year's popular Android handsets, so you'll know if it's worth upgrading or not. In the end, the S4 is for sure a great phone, one of the best right now, and it will sell like crazy. But while there are plenty of things that I like about it, there are still a couple that I don't. The plastic body that feels a bit cheap and will easily get scratched, the overall feeling of the TouchWiz interface, and the overall size of the phone. As an iPhone user, I really can't see myself switching for a 5-incher. I've tried with several different models, but it's just not possible for me. I need something small that won't require both handsets to operate. Anyway, that's about it for this clip. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share it to your friends, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. I have many other clips with the Galaxy S4 in there, so go ahead and check them out. And if you have any questions about this phone, leave them below, I'll be here to reply. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you again very soon.